What's up, everybody? Hogan 93 in the place to be. Welcome to the Wrestling Corner, episode 9 of season 5. That's right. Hope everybody had a nice weekend on their end. I sure did, even though, as you look in the description, basically, how you going to give everybody Wrestling Corner almost a job entrance? Come on. I was gonna say, as you can see in the description below, even though weekend was pretty good, Sunday night, the Sunday night portion of it could have been a whole lot better. It was pretty underwhelming. With that said, this Wrestling Corner will be the review of last night's Survivor Series event, which was Survivor Series 2015, and it was also the 29th annual Survivor Series. And not only was it the 29th annual Survivor Series, it was the 25th anniversary of the one and only Undertaker's debut. Before I get into, my review of last night's pay-per-view, the reception of the review, not the review, the reception of this pay-per-view, not gonna lie, I'm pretty surprised at the first, when I was at school today. I looked up to see, not before I even went to school. Before I left school, I was just wanting to see what was some, what was the reception like. Sometimes most I go on the wiki page and see if somebody already put up a reception of the pay-per-view, and there was a reception section on the Survivor Series 2015 wiki page. And I was surprised to see that it was kind of optimistic. Well, only really one. It was from Cano Slam. I forget let me look, because I put it in the Wrestling Central chat room. Hold on. There we go. All right, there we go. It was, Bob Capper from Cano Slam. Yeah, he gave the event an 8 out of 10. And then there was a review on Bleacher Report that was pretty optimistic, and fans were saying that this is a pretty optimistic or upbeat review for a not so good event. And for me, you know what? I'll save that. I'll go in. For me, I don't necessarily see it as in the case of being fans just being smarks about the event, because one review said the wiki page. So I forgot what was the source, but it said that they felt that the finals of the tournament was disappointing, and that they praised Undertaker's anniversary, but they said the crowd was lousy or had a lousy atmosphere. But in all honesty, the crowd kind of had every reason to have a lousy to react lousy to the event. Now this is a good way to segue into the event. First off, I didn't watch the pre-show. Most of you guys that have watched the corner for a while know that me and Chris most time don't tend to watch the pre-show, and it wasn't anything different with this one. Even though it was good to hear that Goldust came back, and if you did not see him in his return on the pre-show, you saw firsthand on Raw that he's back. And that was one of the Survivor Series, the traditional Survivor Series matches. But as far as the actual event is concerned, the event kicked off with Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. The first out of two semifinal match of the WWE tournament, the WWE Championship tournament. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Now, I would go on to say that this match kind of reminded me of not in terms of style, in terms of like how the match flowed and everything, how the match went about. It reminded me of a certain match between CM Punk and Elijah Burke, or also known as, Pope, D'Angelo De Niro. Um, it was from Judgment Day 2007. Judgment Day 2007 is, long story short, it's not really it's not really that much of a not a paper that really has a lot to write home about. But what I mean by for this match, the CM Punk and Elijah Burke match took a while to get going, but once it got going, it was pretty good. And that's how I felt about the and good night, Bruce. But anyway, as Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler pick up the win while Owens just kind of left Breeze hot and dry. It reminded it that's how I felt about Reigns and Alberto Del Rio. It took a while to get going, but once it got going, it developed into a pretty exciting match. I mean, the crowd, really was into it when it started to get going. When the backstabbers came and the drive-bys, and especially when Roman um, hit the Superman punch. Hey, Tracy Morgan, always good to see him up and about. But um, especially when Roman hit the Superman punch, and then it looked like at first I'm thinking, okay, Del Rio is sure down for a long time. But now it was just turned. It was just he was just lying in wait, because then he hit the super kick, and that was a pretty good near fall. And then um, he locked on the cross arm breaker, but then Roman was able to lift him up, and he was hanging on. He now then became a hanging cross arm bar, and referee had to break it up. And as soon as that happened, spear 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns retained. So yeah, it reminded me of the CM Punk Roger Burke match. If you have not seen that match, I say go watch it, and you'll basically see the similarities in terms of what I'm talking about. Took a while to get going, but once it got going, the action was good, and the crowd was into it. That was just exactly like the CM Punk Elijah Burke. Because once all the communication started to flow, and the pace started to pick up, and the action started to pick up, the crowd was into it. Definitely was into the Elijah Burke CM Punk match. So once again, if you have not seen that match, I recommend to watch it. It's probably one of the two better matches of Judgment Day 2007. But yeah, basically, Roman Reigns retains over ADR. Then not really sec, but follows right up with has followed up right with the next semifinal match, which I thought was pretty smart. Hey, kick off with the tournament. Okay, why don't you just get the semifinals out of the way, and start off hot. Basically start off with important matches. Not no disrespect to any of the other matches on the card, but I'm not saying all the matches were non-essential. Well, probably the traditional Survivor Series match because that didn't really have any build, and it was decided, I think, on the night of the event. But most of that's pretty good to kick off with the matches that are basically not think of the right word, that that they are essential, but more importantly, are consequential. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. They are consequential to the event. And you saw with the tournament matches. Oh yeah, those are pretty consequential matches. Then next one is Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. And even though the match started off pretty fast, because they started busting out into their signature moves pretty quick. I think Owens hit his cannonball like within like the first 5 minutes, and Ambrose got hit with the Super Fisherman suplex. Remember Super Fisherman Buster, but he kicks out, and then it was the ending was pretty interesting because I'm not gonna lie, that ending kind of fooled me when Dean when Dean he hopped over the pop-up powerbomb attempt, but then he got super kicked, and then he stumbles back. He tries to go for his. What's going on here? No, he tries to go. He tries to go for. He tries to go for the pendulum lariat, but he gets super kicked again, and he goes down to his knees. And I'm thinking, okay, oh shoot, Owens probably gonna win this, but what the hell? What in the world? But he counters the powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana, and then Owens charges, and then whoop whoop. One of my favorite transitions. The arm trap transition, ran to the Dirty Deeds. 1, 2, 3. Ambrose gets the win and retains. That was a pretty nifty finish. I thought Ambrose was done for. And hey, Young Jay Way says, "Hey bro, hey Jay, how's it going, man?" That was a pretty wasted segment. Pretty wasted. So that left us with, later on in the night for the finals were set. The stage was set for Ambrose and Reigns. And basically, if you're watching Raw, basically shows showing the finals right now. Then the next match was the 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination tag match. And I kind of had the heel team pretty figured. I figured that was going to be the New Day. Remember, I had it New Day, Breeze, and forget who else I had. But it was the New Day. But then I started thinking, wait, maybe it would be New Day. Once I saw that Breeze and Ziggler were still going to have a match in Survivor Series, then that's why I thought probably New Day, Sheamus, and Barrett. And then I thought that for the face team, Neville was going to be a part of the team. But Neville was part of the pre-show team. But so the actual teams were, it was Ryback, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett. It was a pretty funny segment when the New Day came out And they started razzing on the Atlanta crowd, basically saying how they have more championships combined than all of Atlanta's professional teams. Professional teams, the Braves, the Braves, the Hawks, and the Falcons. So, and then freaking Sheamus says, let's get jiggy with it, and he looks like the odd Celtic out. I'm going to be serious here. For most of the match, after the Lucha Dragons Usos spot where they all four of them dove over the top rope on there and Ryback jumped on everybody, I pretty much was setting up my food. I'm prepping my food, so I missed like the first two eliminations. And the first elimination, I'm looking on the wiki page right here, where King Barrett, he got Wade Barrett, he ain't no king. Wade Barrett got eliminated by Sin Cara with Sin Cara Senton Bomb. Then Jimmy, almost 2 minutes after Barrett's elimination, Jimmy got eliminated by Xavier Woods after a backbreaker diving foot stomp combination from Woods and Kingston. Then, and I also missed Sheamus eliminating Sin Cara basically a minute after the Brogue kick. Then this is where I started when I came back in. When Jey Uso eliminated Big E with the Uso splash. And then after Big E got eliminated, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, they basically just left with Big E. And I was thinking to myself, well, they're not the legal men yet. It was still Sheamus. Yeah, that's if he's still even champion after that. I was gonna say, and I'm thinking, okay, they're not legal, so technically, shouldn't the match still go if Sheamus is to be eliminated? But then Sheamus realized he was high and dry. He was left high and dry, and then it was just him and Kalisto. It was just him really dealing with Kalisto for a while, and then Kalisto was able to get the tag for Jay, and then it all came down to they all three of them in a collaborative effort took care of Sheamus. It was pretty interesting when Kalisto, he went for a Hurricane Rana, but he got caught. But then he got super kicked by Jay, and then Kalisto pulls himself back up. Hurricane Rana, Sheamus right into the shell shock. I think that was a pretty nifty finish, but the crowd was pretty. As for me, right after the two semifinal matches, my excitement for the event started to go down. Now, granted, once again, I did not really watch most of the traditional Survivor Series match, but after that, I can definitely say, yeah, my excitement started to go down. Hold on, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, back. Okay, Young Joey, bro. Young Joey, are we talking about that horrible thing they called pay-per-view last night? Yes, Jay. I'm just doing what just doing what I do. Just doing as scheduled, man. Review no matter how underwhelming or you name it an event is. I always promise to do a review for it. Okay, so then the next match of the night was Yeah, it was basically the first title match of the night. Probably not the first. Probably not the first um, championship. First match with championship implications, but this was the first official title match of the night, and it was for the Divas Championship. And Charlotte defended her title against Paige. Um, so yeah, this is where I feel. This is where I can clearly say, yeah, my excitement started to go down because I noticed the crowd excitement started to go down after during the traditional Survivor Series match, and that could be many factors. Probably they didn't really have time to care for the match because they didn't know probably who was going to be in the match, or again, WWE didn't really give him a reason to care because they announced like I said, they announced Survivor Series traditional match kind of late. But anyway, in the Charlotte and Paige match, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed in this. Well, I'm pretty disappointed with this match. I really was. I expected to be better than it was, and it was given a lot of time. I'm looking right here; it says 14 minutes and 15 seconds. But I think, how can I put it? It was lengthy, but I think it's one of those situations where, being lengthy does not always. I'm not saying with this, but I'm saying in general, having a lengthy match does not always mean it's going to be a great match. Even though it gives time for a match to develop and everything. But I think I can say with this match was an example of lengthy. That it was lengthy. Yo, that guy almost looked like Dashi. But I think it was lengthy in a bad way. Like, sometimes, friends, like, all right, put it like this. I saw, I saw, I saw Spectre, 2 Fridays ago. My first time ever seeing James Bond, in the movie theaters. First time ever seeing James Bond movie theater. And that movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. But the pacing for it, how it paced and everything, it didn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I think that's pretty a good thing when something's lengthy, but it doesn't feel lengthy. It doesn't feel like it's dragging on. And I think for me, I can say that for the Paige and Charlotte. It was 14 minutes, but it felt like it dragged for those 14 for me. And I also kind of felt that there was some communication issues. And I think they were reinforced tonight. If and the rematch they had, you can clearly hear, there was communication problem. You can clearly hear Paige and Charlotte, like confirming, like, okay, what's the next spot? I don't know if Charlotte and Paige, how many I don't think they had that many matches in NXT. I'm not so sure. I started watching NXT during Arrival, and during that time, Paige was on her way to be going up to the main roster, and when she went into the main roster, I think the only time she dealt with Charlotte was a tag team match, and then before that, she had the belt, she had to vacate the NXT title, and then they completely go on the main roster full time. But I just felt that I just felt it was clunky at times. It was too slow, especially given that I thought with the heat that the match was given with Paige's comments at the end of before the ending of the contract signing, which somebody brought up in a review. I think noticed that they stopped really bringing up that Paige, even in the promo. In the promo, they didn't even show it. They didn't even show what Paige said about Reed Flair. They edited out and had one of her other comments make it look like that's what set Charlotte off. And I don't know if it's one situation where, okay, they went with it, but then they maybe got too much flack on it. And it's like, you know what? Let's not show it. Let's not bring it up anymore. But I just thought with all that heat that they gave the match, I thought that it was going to be pretty fast. I thought it was going to start off kind of how this match on, they were just slapping each other and everything, but it didn't. But it was pretty, yeah, it was pretty slow and clunky at times, and it's pretty sad because Paige and Charlotte are pretty talented in the ring. Um, but then again, sometimes the matches that look great on paper don't always turn out to be when they actually happen. Sometimes there's chemistry and miscommunication. That's not to say that Charlotte and Paige cannot pull off a good match, but so far, 2 out of 2 have kind of left more to be desired, in my opinion. Um, but Charlotte, uh, well, Charlotte was able. There was a spot where Paige climbed up on the barricade. It was all in her glory, and then Charlotte just climbed up and speared her. But how it looked, it wasn't too like ooh, ow. And then the ending came with Charlotte locking on the figure four, then the figure eight. And at first, something told me that okay, when Charlotte started moving near close to the rope, someone told me that maybe. Then I'm like, oh, maybe not. But then somebody brought me that maybe this gonna lead into a reason for another match, and sure enough, it did. But then Dan's almost like, okay, Charlotte, okay, I understand the rules, but the way how Paige made it seem on Raw that was the reason for why she tapped. It was like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't like Charlotte was pulling the rope. But anyway, Paige was the tap out. And I'm not. Yeah, for me, I was pretty disappointed with that match. I really was. I was really looking forward to that match, and I kind of felt it. Um, I kind of felt it was underwhelming. And then as a match that I was in the kitchen for, again, getting my food out and everything, that um the Tyler Breeze Dolph Ziggler match, and I can mostly go on the word of my friend Nate, who he had to really call out Ziggler. I guess Ziggler really had a bad performance because Nate was like, I gotta call out Ziggler. Ziggler was awful tonight. I think he said about Ziggler was really botching a lot. And that's pretty surprising stuff to say. Ziggler, botching a lot. I'm not saying nobody can botch, but just really don't hear that in a Ziggler match. Him botching, him, having an awful performance. So that's pretty saying something. The crowd, once again, the crowd clearly started to get more, despondent when this match came on. And Tyler Breeze would get the win with the Prettier, which Christian's retired, and not only because Christian's retired, but the whole name goes well with okay, yeah, Breeze all about his face value and literally face value. His handsome features, handsome looks, his him being photogenic. It fits. I think it fits him that okay, yeah, he has a move that he has the Young Predator, plant your face. But you know, man, it's been like okay. Hot Lana was not Hot Lana last night. Let me read Young Jay Wade's third comment. My problem in the pay-per-view, if you're going to give us a throwaway pay-per-view, okay, which is bad enough, but to do it on the Undertaker's night just disgusted me. It's like you built this up at 25 years of Taker to sell it only to give us a subpar show. And with that said, that's a good segue into which was the next match. The Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family. 2 members of the Wyatt family. Those 2 members were Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Now, yes, once again, the theme of Survivor Series 2015 was to celebrate the Undertaker's 25th anniversary. Celebrate Undertaker's 25th anniversary of his debut. And it's pretty crazy that it was not just the anniversary, not just celebrating the anniversary, because I know you can celebrate an anniversary, but it's not on, sometimes in wrestling, it's not on the very day of the event. But For Undertaker, it was exactly 25 years to the day. November 22nd, 1990 was when Undertaker debuted. And 25 years later, exactly to the day, November 22nd, 2015, is the 25th. I found that pretty cool. And Undertaker got a pretty cool entrance. I thought it was going to be more, theatrical, but for what it was, pretty cool. There was like a big coffin hanging, and inside was like almost like a picture montage of all the versions of the Undertaker character. Arguably the greatest gimmick of all time because how long it's lasted, how long it's been reinvented, and still has stayed relevant for all these years. Then the match comes, and it's almost like it's almost like a question of which Wyatt family is going to go against the Brothers Destruction. And Eric Rowan, it's shameless. Eric Rowan rushes in, and he gets clobbered out. And then it's basically, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. And I think the biggest thing that happened in this match was Braun Strowman getting double choked through a tip, which was a big praise for me. I'm not gonna lie. I put in the down. Oh, there is a God. Because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Braun Strowman get his ass choked slammed through a table by Kane and Undertaker. And I basically said right after that, where's your invincibility now? But as you know, and be honest, I was probably Rusev is back. I was kind of expecting him to be gone a little bit longer. But yeah, but other than that, I said it after the match was over. Okay, yeah, maybe at the Brothers Destruction one and all, but the Wyatts just look like I said posers. They look like posers in that match. I know, yeah, Bray Wyatt got a Sister Abigail in the match and all, but it's gonna be like I stepped out for a little bit now. Once I step back in, I'm okay. Wyatt's in control. But then once I step back out, it's like, oh wait, they're just getting dominated. Everything was over, just like that. And it just leaves me. And the crowd gave showed their respects to Undertaker, which was all good and all good and great. Good and dandy and everything. But that yeah, they went over the Dudleys tonight, but that just had made me wonder. Okay, man, what is WWE? What are their plans for Bray Wyatt and the Wyatts? I mean, do they really know what they want to do with him? It's like, how many times you guys gonna build him up to get momentum, and then this time more than any, yeah, it just gets squandered. Yeah, he wasn't pinned in on Luke Harper with him, but still, I mean, the Wyatts just look like posers. I mean, that feud after the night of Hell in the Sun, after I mean, what the hell? After Hell in a Cell and the night after Hell in a Cell, the feud was just one-sided. I mean, clearly one-sided. And the match was mostly one-sided. I mean, it just made the Wyatts look like posing. Once again, make you wonder, okay, where they going with them? I don't know if this was supposed to lead to something with the Dudleys after them laying out the Dudleys, because I think Undertaker's not going to be at TLC for what we know of, for what I know of, but it's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing with Bray? No. Goodbye, Sheamus. So then we get on to, oh my God! Oh, let me get to the next match, the main event. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose for this time, not just the finals, but for the WWE Championship, for the vacated WWE Championship. And They were saying, oh yeah, friendship and brotherhood's gonna be thrown out the window, and indeed it was. The match started, and they're already throwing blows at each other before like Reigns power advantage took over. But it was mostly back and forth, and something I was a little bit taken aback that how okay, no problem with it being fast and furious, but how the signature moves being busted up so quick, and because Ambrose, no, because Reigns hit a spear like almost. The match was only 9 minutes long, which I didn't really uh, clock what the match what time was. But by the time the match ended, it was like 10:37. I'm thinking, whoa, that's way too early. Um, so Reigns hit a spear early, and then right after his ow, then Dean hits the dirty deeds, and then it gets to the point where they're sitting up and they're both jabbing each other, and they're going back and forth. But and then Ambrose is like giving a forearm barrage to Reigns, but then Reigns reverses, start giving his clothesline barrage, and then Dean reverses again, and then and just keep clocking with the forearm, and then he goes opposite way, runs off the the turnbuckle and right into a spear, and 1, 2, 3. I was like, whoa, that was pretty quick. And I'm like, it's only 10:37, and I had a feel, okay, yeah, cash in was going to happen, but I'm just like, man, because the cash in segment was not that long. So I'm thinking, why you guys gave Ambrose and Reigns only 9 minutes? I found that pretty surprising. And then Reigns is celebrating. The confetti is oh wait, look at Rusev. Oh, the confetti is falling. The pyros are uprising. Uh, the Reigns is filled with emotion. Ambrose gives him his respect. Instead of stabbing him back or anything. Then Triple H comes out, and Chris was just screaming like, "Yo, get out of the ring, get out of the ring!" And I'm thinking, man, don't tell me Reigns gonna try to shake Triple H and Triple H, and pedigree, and then Sheamus will come, but no, he doesn't take Triple H's handshake offer, and spears him, and almost as soon as he's done spearing Triple H, Sheamus comes in, bro kick. Uh, Ow! Um, then hey, money in the belt, one cash in. He already had Reigns pinned before the bell even rang. Wrong, and before the bell rang, and 1, 2, Reigns surprisingly kicks out, and you know Sheamus is all looking all weird, stalking Reigns for another brogue kick. Reigns dodges the second one, and he goes off the ropes for a spear, but ran into another brogue kick. And 1, 2, 3, Sheamus becomes the new WWE champion. Another successful Money in the Bank cash in. Oh, basically now Reigns, his first ever WWE championship reign will only be 5 minutes and 15 seconds, according to what Sheamus said. Oh! But the actual match, according to Weekly, was 34 seconds. I mean, a lot of people thought the swerve was going to be that either Reigns or Ambrose was going to turn on one another. The WWE actually kept it a babyface match. Oh man, but I mean, Sheamus is champion. I said it before. I don't understand why, you know, give Sheamus what the no, give Sheamus the money in the bank. Barely do anything with him. You know, kind of have a throwaway feud. You know, with Orton. Barely do anything with him, and I'm expected to care when he wins the no when he wins the when he cashes in. Like, it just I don't understand that booking of the money in the bank. It's almost like so you basically are self making a self fulfilling prophecy that yeah this person is a fluke because they've been losing all this time, not doing much, and they go in their moment of greatness is when their opponent is when their opponent is down and out, exhausted, beat up. It's like it's almost like oh oh. So I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then you might as well have them lose their first real title defense. And if be honest, something tells me that Sheamus is going to lose at TLC against Roman Reigns. Even though and once again, this is about kind of my problem with these gimmick pay because I don't see Roman Reigns and Sheamus the first match. This is going to be a 2 to 3 from 2 to 3 pay-per-view feud. I don't see the point in their first match being being Barrett, being a TLC. That makeshift stable of Sheamus, Barrett, and Rusev, and now they're all doing the authorities' dirty work. Oh, watch yourself, Roman. Oh, wait. Oh, but since Raw is ending, it's about time to basically close up shop for the corner. So mm, and, and I've said this before. I think I said this on the last corner. I think cash in, the 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 cash in, the cash in is more over than who's cashing in my opinion. Sometimes it's like okay, person's popular, but Sheamus wasn't really getting a pop lately. But it's like I told Chris, like for instance, Jack Swagger. When he cashed in on Jericho, the crowd was crazy for it. But then after he won it, it was like, okay, it's over. So I think once again, the unexpected and the suspense of the cashing in. Oh, this was going to cash in is what get people going. I think that's how it was with Sheamus. You know, it was more okay. Oh shoot, he's gonna cash in. Will it be successful or will it not be? Mostly the suspense is what's more over. That's what I've taken from because even with Jack Swagger, um, uh, you know, I can't say Sandow, but mostly Jack Swagger one that really comes to mind because Jack Swagger wasn't, especially when his Money in the Bank, it was out of the blue. Like, wait, why they give him? They haven't really been doing anything with it. But yeah, I don't know if Rollins getting hurt was had an effect on it. Like if Reigns probably would have beat Rollins and nothing would have ever happened. I'm not so sure. But I was right when I said that. I felt that W would probably still want the belt to stay on a heel after Rollins got hurt. And so they still went with Sheamus. But as overall, and Young Joe basically just said it. Basically implied. Survivor 2015, besides at the very best, two really good matches, the first two matches, is a really a throwaway pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view you can miss, and you really won't be, my opinion, you won't be dissatisfied. There won't be any regret that you missed it. Not saying that you don't have to. I'm not demanding that yet. Don't watch it, but I'm just saying that after you watch it, you might have the feeling like, you know what, I could have missed out on this, and I would have been fine. Because it's pretty I think this event just reinforced what I said last week, that Survivor Series out of the big four pay-per-views, even though it's the second longest, Michael was plugging that, it's the second longest running, pay-per-view in WWE history. Even though that's a fact, but I said it before, and I think this event reinforced it, that it's the look at Tom Brady. It's the black sheep of the big four pay-per-views. It's like the one that gets, it's like the one that gets it gets thrown under the bus. It gets the bad end of the stick. It gets shafted. As luckily Survivor Series 2014 probably will have it probably has one of the top 10 or 20 or 30, you name it, moments in not just WWE but wrestling history. Sting finally coming to WWE. But Nate was saying that it was the worst pay-per-view of the year, Survivor 2015. That was worse than Royal Rumble 2015, which was pretty bad. Only good thing about, in my opinion, Royal Rumble 2015 was the triple threat match. So I think at least Survivor Series had kind of two pretty okay matches. Because even though Owens and Ambrose, in my opinion, was good, I know that wasn't their best effort. I think we know that they can do much more than they did. But Survivor 2015, it's up there. No, I think it's interchangeable. It's arguable. It's that or Royal 2015, and that's pretty sad that two out of the big four pay-per-views are were pretty underwhelming this year. Because, like I said, and I agree with you, Jay, that it also pretty sad that this will be a 25th anniversary of Survivor Series. That for not 25th anniversary of Survivor Series, 25th anniversary of Undertaker's debut, and it was a pretty lackluster event. And I thought that throughout the whole night, it was going to be like celebrating Undertaker. Like after every match, they would show like a moment of Undertaker, but they didn't do that. I guess they didn't want to make it too overwhelming. Oh, yeah, we're celebrating Undertaker. But it's almost like you just made the whole pay-per-view, the theme of it being about Undertaker. So I think you might as well show like some historic moments for Undertaker's career. But anyway, as far as 2015, in my opinion, was not that good. and it just reinforced, like I said again, Survivor being the black sheep of the big four pay-per-views. Like I said, I'm surprised that that person gave such a such an upbeat grade. I mean, a score of 8 out of 10. I don't even think it was close to being an 8 out of 10. I don't think it was close to being a 7 out of 10. I think at best, Survivor 2015 is a 6 out of 10. Worst, probably 5 out of 10. I don't know, but to me it wasn't that good. And see, I could see like with Young Jay wasn't. In fact, even the wrestling chat with us when we was talking the Wrestling Central chat room, wasn't that good. We didn't really like it all that much. Heck, Sly Cooper Steve, he was doing a live video with Chris, my brother, and before they started, he was like, I'm just coming from that. I'm trying to wake up from that vent that put me to sleep, and it's almost right there. Like, man, so yeah. But as far as 2015 was underwhelming, I hope this Wrestling Corner was not underwhelming as well. But I hope it was good for you. I really do. I really do. I hope it wasn't underwhelming like Survivor 2015. But I'm not so sure what will be. Maybe some news will pop up throughout this week. There's something to be discussed for the last corner of November. November 30th is the last day of November. So the last day will also be the last day of November will also be the last corner of November. So that's pretty cool. But so maybe some news come up. Probably I'll think of a theme. Or probably it'll be the first. I think for first of this season, a retro edition. Where I basically talk about an old pay per view or so. Probably, but something will probably come. For now, I'm not so sure, but it's up in the air for right now. But once again, this is Hope the 93 in the place to be. Hope you enjoyed the Wrestling Corner. This was episode 9 of season 5. Hope everybody has a healthy. Well, I'm not so sure if it's going to be not healthy in terms of I don't know, calories or so, but healthy in terms of, charm and everything of, spirit, to be around the family and everything for, Thanksgiving. So I was going to say, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and a happy and delicious Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy all the meals that either you're gonna cook or your family's gonna cook, but nonetheless, dig in and all that goodness, and don't forget one thing. It's kind of a rule about Thanksgiving. Not only do you eat on Thanksgiving, make sure you get those leftovers. Make sure you make leftovers. For then you don't have to cook for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Make sure you get those leftovers. That's a rule. Make sure you get those leftovers. Make sure. But anyway, once again, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And until the next corner, stay easy and peace.